All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Realtor on the Roof, and thank you for joining us. I'm Stephen J.B. Davis, as you probably know by now, your land specialist and residential realtor here in Central and Southeastern Kentucky. Wow, that's a mouthful. Continuing on, this is a show where we get to know home industry professionals as pros and as people, and today we have a special treat because Michael here is just a kaleidoscope of awesomeness, and he's home related, but not in the most obvious way. Not a contractor, not a plumber, not an electrician. You're like a full-on you're like a magician, basically.
Magician, yeah.
That's pretty much how I like to think of you. But why don't you tell everybody in your own words what it is you do?
All right, my name's Michael Kreisle. I am the executive director and partner over at Makerspace, which is a local community workshop where we provide access to folks to a lot of tools. And the members are all makers and artists, hobbyists, some professionals. We have business owners over there that make their living using the tools.
So we're talking like carpenters, we're talking moms, parents that like crafts. We're talking welders. You have a lot of like metalworking there too,
Yep.
yeah?
Yep.
A really cool space. You will see all of his information, like how to find the Create Now Makerspace later on at the end, in the credits and the comments, all of that kind of thing. But for now, let's just get to know a little bit more about you. So like, where are you from, and just what is your background? Like, how did you get to this point in your life where you're providing this kind of really cool access to people in order to make for themselves and for others?
Yeah, well, I grew up in Owensboro, Kentucky. It's a small little town in western Kentucky. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but
I have actually.
I actually left when I was 18. I left, going off to school and things. Ended up getting an MBA over time on an installment plan, so I get credits here, credits there, and then find out some credits didn't transfer. But over time, I've got an MBA. Owned a business here in Lexington. It was a pressure washing business for 17 years.
Okay.
I came to Lexington for my wife. You know, I met her in Louisville, and then ended up coming here. This is where she lived and whatnot. But I ran that business successfully. It was really dependent upon internet marketing and just trying to be the best pressure washer we could be, as far as just to get away from that whole image of just a truck and a pressure washer or whatever. But that started getting boring to me.
Really?
There was no more challenges, because at the end of the day, I could come to your home and tell you on a molecular level what my soap was doing on your home. And once you're down to the molecular level, there's not very much else you can do. So I did okay with that, sold the business, semi-retired, and got kind of talked into becoming an executive director at the Makerspace. And then the more I was there, the more I was doing some things there and helping the place grow and helping it with its internet marketing and helping it with systems in place to handle members and trying to reach out and coordinate events for the Makerspace itself and whatnot. I bought in, so I'm part owner now and not so retired yet.
Yeah, you're a busy guy, and one of the things so we met in the most unlikely of ways. For one, we're neighbors. We probably live 2.5, 3 miles away from each other. And on my first real estate transaction, he was selling a piece of land to someone that I was helping buy the land, and I saw your address and I was like, there's only one of these streets in this whole city, so I'm pretty sure we're neighbors. We should like talk, because where I live, it's kind of hard to get to know people. There aren't sidewalks and just people walking around like that. So one of the things that I noticed when I started following you, though, is that your big hobby is off-roading.
Off-road, yeah. I enjoy going off-road. I've got a couple of Jeeps and a Land Cruiser, and I go to the trails and whatnot, and I belong to an actual club here in town.
Oh, I don't think I realized that.
Yeah, we're Kentucky Crawlers, but
nice.
It's a nonprofit organization. We all promote responsible wheeling, responsible care to the environment, things like that, and as doing that, we enable that club and the Southern Four Drive Association, stuff like that, to go legislate and things like that to help keep trails open and demonstrate that we are responsible for off-road stuff. So I got into it before I was in the Makerspace, and one of the reasons I started at the Makerspace was because they had some tools that I did not have and was able to make some parts for my Jeep and whatnot and things like that. And then the more I was there, the more I liked it, and the more I saw there was a cool challenge to be happening there. And so I got involved.
So I think a maybe obvious or not obvious thing about what you do and what I'm doing here on this show is how does it relate to the home? And I think we've come to this place in American culture where a lot of people really like to do things themselves. They like to redo their house. They like to add decorations or add on an entire like wing or something. So to the person who may be intimidated from either making something as simple as like I don't know, a barrel top to hang on their wall and they want to engrave it with something, to someone who wants to add on an addition to their house, how do they get involved in the Makerspace, and what is your advice on maybe their apprehension in doing so?
All right, so we have an open house every Thursday night, and I get a chance to meet just about everybody in town that's interested in the Makerspace, because I give that tour and show folks this and that, and I hear the questions they ask. And some of the questions are, what if I don't know how to use this tool, or what if I don't have those skills? Well, that's what another thing you have access to there are the other members members to bounce ideas off of, to learn from, or to even come in and teach something. You know, you might not know anything about anything in the wood shop, but maybe you know how to program a computer, and you got people there that are not that good at using the programs on the computer that run some of the machines.
Yeah.
And so that's a trade-off. But we actually have classes as well.
Oh,
so we
cool.
might have an introduction to wood shop, and
no way.
Yeah, we have classes, and sometimes we'll have a class that's based on a project.
Oh, okay.
Just an example here this month, towards the end of the month, I'm actually teaching a class on how to make soap. So
that's pretty cool.
So you'll walk away with a bar of soap that you made.
Yeah.
Or actually, I made first, because it's a 6-week process, but you'll learn how to do it.
Yeah.
We've had projects where folks came in and learned how to harvest and grow their own shiitake mushrooms, which is a good home and garden type project. And
For sure.
sometimes you might see somebody do that bourbon barrel head. You know, hey, come paint something on this bourbon barrel head, or use the CNC to engrave your family's crest on.
What does CNC stand for?
Computer numerical control.
Ah, gotcha.
So we have a lot of that alphabet there at the Makerspace. So we've got CAD, which is computer aided design,
Okay.
and we'll have a class on that, and that basically gives you an intro to drawing shapes and pictures and images in a program that you're eventually hoping to transfer into another machine.
Yeah.
And then we have CAM, which is computer aided machining, because you can draw a 6-inch circle on that computer screen, but the machine won't know if you want a 6-inch circle or if you want a 6-inch hole. So,
wow.
so this is where you would actually tell the computer, hey, I want a 6-inch disc cut out of this wood.
Gotcha.
And in that program, you would say, hey, this piece of wood happens to be 1/2 inch thick, and I'm going to use a 1/4 inch bit, so it knows which side of the line you want it to be on, because you want the 6-inch disc, so it has to cut it on one side of the line or the other.
I see what you're saying.
And whatnot. And then CNC is the actual machine itself, and
Okay.
and that's what would actually cut your 6-inch circle out, or your name, or the shape of a piece of cool
Sure.
mid-century modern furniture or something.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Okay. So I think one of the things I love about doing this so far is everyone that I've interviewed and plan on interviewing, they're so involved in the community, and your space, no pun intended, but your space in the community in particular is so unique because you're bringing so many people together. A lot of people I talk to, they're in and out of people's homes, and they're taking care of one of the largest investments in people's lives, but you're like enriching livelihood. You're providing a space for people to make a livelihood. You're doing so much by having this, and I just really appreciate your time, and I'm really excited to actually come and visit. I'm a fledgling woodworker. I do little tiny projects around my house, and there are so many tools that I don't have. So I'm sure at some point, especially when I get to that is like my ultimate goal, to finish that barn back there.
Yeah.
I'll be in that place a lot, probably writing a few checks, because some things are just above my pay grade.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've got a lot of masterful people in there that could take care of me, or anyone.
Yeah, they can
for that
they can
matter.
hold your hand all the way through making something really simple to making something that somebody's been doing it years and years and years. Real artful craftsman that can make a piece of furniture that looks like you bought it off the showroom floor,
That's
but
so
you made it with your own
incredible.
hands.
So locally sourced stuff, man. Like locally sourced knowledge, locally sourced people, and local tools. Really, I mean, you're a local space. That is so
cool.
Anything else you want to share before we sign off
just
here?
to stay on your new homeowners and people looking for homes and things like that. If you're coming to Lexington, it's another good place to actually come and meet people that in this new town you've just came to, and maybe you just dropped a load on that house and don't want to have to buy all those tools, or don't have the room. Maybe you bought a condo, you don't have room for a wood shop or workshop, but
definitely not.
You know, it just fills a lot of gaps for folks that are trying to make something or trying to fulfill a hobby. It provides that access to.
And you have how many members, real quick?
Right now, a little over 100. Yeah, and
cool.
it's a low cost membership of $55 a month.
That's amazing.
And have access to $20,000 tools.
That is really, really awesome. Oh my gosh. I honestly cannot wait to visit. I'm so happy that you took time out of your day to come and sit here with me. It's strikingly hot. I dressed for totally different weather. But thank you for spending this time, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you more off camera. Also, thanks for the watch. You brought me a watch. Like, that's super nice.
Random, right? Random.
Yeah, and random, absolutely. So for now, that's what we've got for you. You will find all of the information for the Create Now Makerspace in the credits and in the comment section, depending on what platform you're watching this on. Please visit in person. Please visit virtually. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm Stephen Davis, and I'll see you later.